G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today we are starting Mermay 2024. This is going to be 31 days, fingers crossed hopefully. My intention is to be with you for the next 31 days doing a mermaid a day in a video on YouTube. That is the goal I'm setting for myself. It's kind of funny, but my challenge is really just to do 31 videos of me doing mermaids. It's not really to learn anything art or journaling related, which is why I think a lot of people would do a challenge. Look, a lot of people do challenges for different reasons. We're going to talk all about it today, but I do just want to let you know this is what that series is. There'll be a playlist, so if you've missed one or you want to come back and look at one another day, you can follow it all in a playlist or just check in whenever you check in. The first video, I think I mentioned this when I made the book cover, this book cover. The first one is not great. I mean, it's not bad, but I don't love it for the reason that I set out to do this. Okay, let's break it all apart. What I wanted to do, as far as the mermaids were concerned, was something I've done before, and I think most challenges I do this, and there's a very good reason for why, and it's basically just so that I can achieve it, and it's a really easy way to, you know, step to victory. So I set myself with the goal of just doing a mermaid each day, and it doesn't matter what they look like. Like, it could be any skill level, any approach, any aesthetic, any you know, art supply. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm not trying to be better with gouache. I'm not trying to learn how to ink my drawings better. I'm not trying to challenge myself to draw, you know, a specific style or like develop anything. It's whatever idea I have and I just want to do it. But I would like it to be kind of fuss-free. Like, I don't want to sit and labor over the thought process. I don't want to have to sit there and, you know, develop anything. Like, I just want it to be intuitive, sit down, do it, while the camera's on, leave. Don't even care if it's not that great, but I will be showing you every single one of them for the daily ones. And because I started it in this journal, essentially use this journal also for the entire time that I'm doing the challenge. So this will also have other stuff in it, like photos. I mean, it does at this point. You won't see it right now, but you'll see it as the month develops. I'm using it as my journal as well, so there's some journaling stuff in there. And anytime that I'm also not on camera, I'll pick the journal up and draw mermaids in there as well. Or put like random collage stuff in there and start a mermaid and come back to it. That is separate from the videos, because I also want you to see, pardon me, that realistically, what you end up seeing on film is just a fraction of what I actually do when I'm journaling, because I don't film every single thing that I sit down to my desk to do. In fact, I film, it seems like barely any of it, to be fair. I know I film a lot and I know I do share a lot, and you end up seeing most of it in flip videos, but I think this is going to be really interesting to see, because each day I'm going to flip the journal. I'll show you the front and back cover, and then I'll flip it, and we'll get to the page that I'm working at, and you'll start to see each day as I flip it, there'll be more and more random things that start appearing, and then, you know, by 15 days in, you'll start to see that it's starting to look like a real, like, art journal. Like, there's all these other random, you know, pieces of ephemera in there, there's packaging in there, there's receipts in there, there's stickers in there, photos in there, so you'll start to see how that develops over time, and the fact that what you see is just the mermaid on the right hand side of the page, and then what you don't see is everything else that starts being added to it in the days in between. And also because I'm kind of doing it, I mean, I'm doing it chronologically. I'm not necessarily doing it daily when I filmed it. Sometimes I did 2 in a row, sometimes I did nothing for 4 days, and then sometimes I did 4 in a row. So it's not necessarily chronological, but daily, but it is chronological. So you will see whenever I reflip the book, sometimes there's a ton that's been added to it, and then other times it looks exactly the same as it did the day before. I won't have touched it at all. That's also kind of a more realistic look at how I journal. The only thing I really make sure I turn up to daily, if I can manage it, is my planner and my 5-year Hobonichi, because when I fall behind in the 5-year, it is just a never-ending task to get back on track. And then the planner, just so I know what I'm doing with my day. That's important. Even though I kind of know now that I'm managing different jobs in different places, and, you know, it's not just me choosing my schedule anymore. Like, I have to show up to some of these shifts that companies are giving me to show up to. I do live by that planner a little bit more. And then Steve got me onto the stupid Google Calendar, which I don't love, but I have been updating it, so I visit that if I have to. Please, no allergies today. If we do, I've got my tissue, I've got my drink, it's gonna be fine. But The challenge itself, Mermay, for me, it's just a mermaid to share with you in a video every single day. I really wanted to do daily videos because I feel like I've got so much that I want to talk about and different topics I want to talk about, and I'm always hijacking my other videos, but it's only once a week. Sometimes I feel like I've barely spoken to you and so many things have happened. So I figured with 31 days, I'll definitely run out of things to talk about and we can just talk about anything. I mean, when have I ever got on here and not said anything? I'm sure I could talk about something, but each day will kind of be different. It's whatever I turn up to talk to you about is whatever it is, and I will make the video fit my voiceover. So some days it might be 15 minutes, 10 minutes, like a short little video, and then other days it might be an hour and a half of me talking about probably stories I've told you before, but I just want to keep talking to you about them because I love to tell my stories over and over and over again. And you're very good at listening to the same ones over and over again. The only person that doesn't like to hear them again is Steve. All right, I've got a little thing here that is things to chat about. Whenever something pops in my head, I write it down here to make sure I can chat to you about that. But I figured the first thing I should probably say is Mermay. I mean, you saw my video on putting the cover together. This book was originally one of the Daisy Ween books, the hardcover books. Sorry, I'm getting a message. I think one of my issues is getting sorted, which is great. That was one of my hardcover Daisy Ween books, and I just wasn't using it for anything, so I started painting over the cover and then painting over everything inside as well, and just wanted to use it because essentially that book was set up for a 31-day challenge for Daisy Ween. So I figured I could just take it and make it a 31-day challenge for Mermay. The paper inside is not mixed media friendly. It is not anything but slightly better quality copy paper. You know, it'd be great to draw on with pencils and, you know, maybe I've used alcohol markers in there. They're great too. Obviously they bleed through. Excuse me for a second. My nose is starting to have nasal drip, which is so fun. But the paper does not hold up to wet media. That did not stop me. You will see that I have put this book through its paces. Like, it is just wild in there at this point. So I'm excited for you to see each day as it kind of fleshes out and comes together. It's going to be really fun for you to see all that. But the first day, I just didn't nail it as far as being fuss-free, so what you're seeing in this video. And so this is why I think I said in that other journal cover video, get past the first one and it'll be great. But the second one I also taught a tutorial on, so really you have to get to day 3 for me to be happy with whatever I've contributed to Mermay so far. So, I mean, watch whatever you want. I'm not gonna be mad if you don't watch any of it, to be honest. But why did I want to do it? Again, just wanted to chat to you and tell you all my stories and have a lot of opportunities to connect with you over May. And then also, I love mermaids. I mean, I've always loved mermaids. That's a given. If you've seen anything about my art journals, it's fairies, mermaids, Disney, The Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, which kind of goes in with Disney. Yeah, I mean, photos, love photography, fashion illustration, anything Japanese, anything vintage, retro, kawaii, anything Tokyo Disneyland related especially. I mean, I love all these things, but mermaids have been something I've been obsessed with since I was a little boy, and I just love mermaids. I can't get enough. So they're always around. I'm kind of always in a state of mermaid, to be honest. So the challenge for me was really just doing the daily videos and being very fuss-free about the entire project. And I think as the challenge went on for me, because I've been pre-filming this in April, as it went on, it was then to use this as an art journal and to create a completed art journal by the end of it. So that's kind of an added bonus that I've put into my challenge for myself towards the end. I won't be petrified, upset. I won't be upset if I don't finish the art journal, like every nook and cranny isn't covered, but it's pretty dense as it is, so it's looking like I might finish it and might do a good job of you know, bringing it to some stage of completion. That would also be a nice little win for me. When I do challenges, that is kind of on my mind. Like, I want to succeed at them, and it is important for me to succeed at them. I think it sets a good example because I put the content out there and I want you to feel like things are manageable and achievable. It's not really my vibe to put out content to show you where it's, you know, things aren't working. I don't mind telling you when things don't work. Like, I've obviously admitted that this first page felt it was very labored for me. It wasn't as fuss-free as I wanted, but ultimately I showed up, I did it, and then we move on. And I think even that sends a better message than, you know, being frustrated until the end of time that it just wasn't what I wanted. Excuse me. But I want to succeed at challenges. I think it's important for me and for my motivation to feel like I am successful. And that's something that whenever I set out to do a challenge, I'm very mindful of. I only really go into them because I want to as well. Like, sometimes the want to do it is, you know, there's a different reason or intention behind it. And so that has to be motivating enough. You know, just because you feel like everyone else is doing it isn't generally enough motivation to do it, because you sit down to it 3 days in and you're like, I don't really want to. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not very motivating just because everyone else is. Unless you're a super competitive person, in which case that would be motivation enough to make sure that you succeeded because everyone else was. But generally you want some kind of passionate reason, some kind of joyful reason to go into it, or some kind of, you know, achievable goal that you think might enhance your process afterwards. Like, some people want to just become quicker at illustrating. They want to become more familiar with the style they like so that they can draw it quicker. It's more in their hand and their muscle memory. And so that would make them have a good time drawing in the future because they don't have to sit down and, you know, spend too much time figuring it out every time they sit down to their journal. That can really frustrate people, to have to feel like they're not competent at something. So that'd be a good reason to do it if, you know, joy itself wasn't the motivator. I don't think a lot of people are actually that overjoyed at the idea of a challenge. I think people get excited about the idea of finishing a challenge, or what you might have as a result of finishing the challenge, like a beautiful journal full of mermaids. Like, that is an appealing and enticing reason to start it. But whatever it is that you need to motivate you to finish it, I think that's important to consider as well, because motivation does become one of those factors. For me, the feeling of success that I get when I finish is motivation enough, because I've done challenges in the past, and when I finish them, I feel very successful at it. But I will be honest and very transparent, because jlbCREATIVE World is part of my employment, like, it's the reason I pay my bills, I'm mostly incentivized to finish this just because it's just not a good look for my brand if I just say I'm going to do things and I don't do them. So I have to finish it because it's good business practice to do what you say you're going to do. And then also, I just like feeling successful, and I do want to be able to share all of my stories with you and chat to you for 31 days straight. So that is also motivation enough for me to get the video content to have so I can do the voiceovers. But if the allergies don't get in the way, I feel like it is really important to consider why you're doing it, and then also to keep your context really clear. Again, this is a part of my business, and I spend business hours doing art journaling. Like, when you turn up to a job 9 to 5, you know, you do your 9 to 5 job, that is what I do, art journaling, and a lot of the times longer hours than that. And so it can be very unrealistic sometimes to look at what you see on social media and think that's what you might be achieving if you are turning up for 30 minutes a day, whereas I might have been doing it for 4 hours a day. And maybe you've seen a video where it's even a long video and you think, oh yeah, I mean, well, I spent an hour on it, he spent an hour on it, why are we not kind of achieving the same things? Again, I do it off screen as well. Like, I do things where the video isn't recording, and I'll do little bits here and there, but sometimes I will just sit down for 2 hours and just work at my journals. And I do enjoy that time. That is quality time I have for myself. It feels very relaxing, very calming. I feel very creatively expressed when I do that. And it is essentially just me time, right? And I think that's important too. So keep the context really clear when you're kind of setting your goal. Keep the goal achievable. There is not much virtue in achieving a really humongous goal or achieving lots of small goals. I mean, they all kind of attribute to that feeling of success. You know, a win is a win, no matter how big. So I feel like I always just think it's a bit of a cheat code just to set your expectations really low so that you can meet them. And the motivation you feel from that will help you set a new goal that you will then achieve quicker and quicker. I mean, the only time I feel like I've never really done that was with weight loss. I used to be a very like fad diet, crash course kind of, you know, really go really crazy for 2 weeks and then actually see some results, and then I would just give it all in because it wasn't sustainable. I am currently in a point in my life right now where I have decided to do the slow and steady, you know, make small changes often type, you know, lifestyle, and that is literally working for me, and I'm so annoyed that I just never gave into that before. But, you know, it's those things that I think we keep learning in life, and there's nothing wrong with that. It can just be a little frustrating for ourselves. So take it from me, as someone that does it, you know, in art journaling, but doesn't do it in other areas of life. Set lots of small achievable goals and let that motivation carry you on to set even more of those. If you're someone that just wants to achieve something huge, there's nothing wrong with that either. But, you know, sometimes the risk versus reward thing for me in art challenges isn't worth it. I see a lot of people over the years do challenges and feel very, very upset when they don't complete them, and feel things like, you know, not only just disappointment that they didn't finish, or they don't have, you know, a finished product to show for it, like 31 drawings, which doesn't seem like a lot. Like, it's not the end of the world that you don't have 31 drawings of something to show somebody. But the feelings that come along with not achieving that, you know, if you've set that goal and you haven't managed to work it out, people feel, you know, like they're disappointed in themselves, like they're untalented, like they're incapable, like they're not able to, like that there's something wrong with them. And I've heard all these things come out of people's mouths, and they're just so heavy. Like, it's such a heavy way to feel over an art challenge. Like, be careful you don't set yourself up to feel those things, because it's just as easy to say, I'm going to do 31 days of showing up, drawing a stick figure at least, and then calling it a day. Do you know how easy it is to achieve that? I mean, some people might still struggle, that's fair, but it's much easier to set yourself a goal that you'll be able to achieve. So that's my encouragement for you if you are doing Mermay. It's not to dumb it down, it's my own approach. For me, this year, I'm turning up to do 31 videos of me showing you some kind of mermaid that I'm doing on screen. Doesn't even have to be good, but I just want to show it to you so that I have a chance to talk to you. And I guess this has been a whole conversation about Mermay so far, but I don't want to sit here and give you a whole lecture on everything. Let's talk about something else. Actually, let's talk about my last week. I've got some topics here, but we've got a whole month to chat together. My last week has been wild. You might have seen on my social media, because I spam my Instagram with all kinds of dance videos. I am dancing again. I have been dancing all year, but it's all over the place. Like, I've been over at Knott's Berry Farm all year, and now I'm back at Disneyland. I've been back at Disneyland, but we've been in rehearsals, and it's all been very secretive because we've been working on debuting a new parade over at Disney's California Adventure Park, and the parade is called Better Together, a Pixar Pals celebration. It is so fun. I have had such a blast, and we opened it last week. Last Wednesday was the soft opening, and then the official opening was on Friday. And so I've been over there a bunch, and now I start my regular kind of schedule over at Disney. I'm just finishing up over at Knott's Berry Farm too. We got our run extended for 2 weekends, so I'll be finishing there next weekend, and then I won't be at Knott's Berry Farm for, I mean, I don't know when I'll go back, to be honest. I don't know if it'll be Halloween or Christmas or next year. You know, there are different offerings in different seasons, and sometimes you're right for them, sometimes you're not. And it all just depends on timing as well. So we'll be finishing up over there, but now I start over at Disneyland again, and I'll be there all throughout the summer, like right up until Halloween, and I'll be there 4 days a week. So it's going to be a lot of dancing. I'll try not to spam your Instagrams too much, but I make no promises about that. I'm really excited. I'm thinking that 4 days a week is really going to snatch off those extra pounds that just kind of hang around there. And the parade itself is just super, super fun. I love doing it. It is such, like the song says, good vibes. It is really good vibes. The weather too, like I've only really danced seasonally at Disneyland in the parade department, and it's been over Christmas time. And even though Christmas time in Southern California isn't freezing, it's definitely not the most super hot time ever. I've done a couple of special events throughout the middle of the year last year, which gave me a taste of what it's like to dance, you know, in the daytime around the summer. Even then, I feel like I had pretty good days that we did those. And it is beautiful spring weather right now, but it's very interesting for me to think about what it's going to be like in a couple of months. out in the heat. I'm gonna need some sunscreen. I'm gonna need a little neck fan or something. I'm gonna have to hydrate like crazy. I'm excited, and obviously millions of people have done it before me, but that's a little lifestyle change I'm gonna have to get used to. But I'm really excited for it, and I've been really happy that it's more consistent, and that 4 days a week is a lot. It's like a whole other job that I'm going to commit myself to, and I will still obviously be doing jlbCREATIVE. And the good thing is that any downtime I have over there, I can bring my journaling stuff to Disneyland, and I can do that, in between breaks and stuff. So I don't feel like I'm actually losing a ton of time. It is shared time now. I mean, I don't have all of the time I used to have to do jlbCREATIVE, but sometimes that's a little warped in my head too, because when I think about like, wow, I used to spend like 20 hours a day doing all this art journaling stuff, I'm thinking about the pandemic. Like, I'm thinking about 2020 when I was live streaming around the clock, when I was doing multiple workshops, when I was doing products, and all of that stuff that I was doing then, when literally the whole world was shut down. Like, I had nothing but time to commit to that. And even though I made my schedule before that, and I worked a lot in 2017, 2018, 2019, like I worked a ton then as well. Realistically, I think the pandemic was when I kind of hit my stride with working nonstop. So I should be a little bit more clear in my brain about how I divide up my time, because it is working for me now. Like, what I'm doing now is working for me, but in my head, there's still that really like distant voice that is like, you're not doing anything with your art journaling, which is so crazy. Of course I am. Like, it's literally still going. Just because it's not 14 hours a day, it doesn't mean I'm not doing it. That was always really unrealistic. So I don't know why I feel like that's something I should still be able to maintain. In any case, it's not failing, so I'm not going to worry about it. But it is something I do always have to consider, the amount of time that I'm, scheduling here and there. Like at Knott's Berry Farm, the shift times over there when I was doing It's Your Life Charlie Brown, I was really only there for a few hours in the middle of the day. So that really left my whole morning open. It left my whole evening open. Then when we went into rehearsals for Preserved, and then I was in rehearsals for Better Together, like everything was kind of clashing on top of each other. If I wasn't at Knott's, I was at Disney. And then I think that got into my head a little bit, because I was like, I'm actually just dancing nonstop and I don't have time for what I need to do at home. So that was getting a little hectic. But now that it's evened all out again, Preserved is closing, I'm in no rehearsals for anything else. It's just going to be parades at Disneyland. Again, I will have literally every morning I'm there, like the 4 days that I'm there, I'll have all that time in the morning and into the afternoon to do my work, and then I can go over there and do my dancing, which I have to say doesn't even feel like work. It feels like a workout. It feels like it's a physical labor type experience, but it doesn't feel like, it's not work I dread to go to. In fact, none of the jobs I have are work that I dread to go to. I dread doing taxes and stuff like that for my own business, but that comes around once a year, so it's fine. Well, 4 times a year. But anyway, I think it'll all be good. I'm just excited to see that schedule kind of take effect. So over the next couple of weeks, that will start to settle in, and, not being in rehearsals anymore, especially like I was doing all these night rehearsals over the past couple of weeks. And that just, not only did it was like a really hard thing to coordinate with my timing of how I was supposed to do everything. I think one of my YouTube videos was late because of that. It was also just really affecting my sleep schedule. So I couldn't wake up during the day. And then as soon as I did wake up, I'd have to go into work. And so I felt like that really confused me a little bit, but it should all work out. I'm positive it'll all work out. And then, so that's what we opened. It is a parade all about friendship and being better together. We do sign language for Better Together in it, which I think is really cute. And it's just been great. I love seeing all the audience out there. Obviously, when we're rehearsing, we don't really have a ton of people watching. But now that we're performing it for audiences, it's just the best feeling. You get so much energy from people watching. And I mean, the audience at a Disney park is always so great too, because everyone's there for a good time. So you don't have to work too hard. Like, not that I do work very hard, but you're not trying to make people happy watching. Like, they're already happy to be there. They've got their popcorn, they've got their drinks. They're just sitting there ready and excited. And so you show up and they're excited and you're excited. And It is really, really great. I did the cast preview for it as well. A lot of the times, not even just for new things, but for other parades that come back, they'll put on a special cast preview. Sorry, my allergies. I can't tell you too much about anything, everything as well. Has that tissue been there the whole time? That's so embarrassing. Sorry. Hopefully you're watching the mermaid and not my face. I can't tell you too much about what happens at Disneyland, just because that's a part of the job. You're not really supposed to disclose anything. So the things I can say are things that are really obvious. But the cast preview, that's something that, you know, they were allowed to put on social media, and those were some of the first videos that people saw of the parade. It's one of the only times that really I think people will see that parade at night, because we did it at midnight, which doesn't seem like an optimal time to dance, but it is really nice and breezy at midnight, so it is actually really nice. Sometimes your energy just really peaks right as that day changes. But the energy of the crowd, like it's just all cast members, all really excited to see something new. You know, they're just finished their shift, or they're coming in on their day off to have a look. And I mean, every section of people just screams like crazy, and it's just one of the most intense audiences ever. I likened it to, pardon me, when I used to work at Royal Caribbean, we had these things called office runs, and at Knott's they're called executive runs. I think everywhere kind of has a version of it. When you're doing a performance, like a contract, like on a cruise ship or whatever, right at the end, at Royal, we would choose one of the shows and we would do an office run where essentially every other ship that was in rehearsals at the time would stop. So if it was like a Wednesday at 2 o'clock, all the other rehearsals would stop. Everyone would come into the main like little theater, like rehearsal studio right in the middle of the studios. They're all different now, actually. I've never been to the new rehearsal studios. At the old place in Hollywood, Florida, they would put everyone in there, and so all of your friends from different ships, you know, people you'd worked with before, or people you'd never really met before, but they would all stop and they'd all come in and they'd be your audience. And then we also had the office there as well, like the casting team for singers and dancers and like, you know, all the other people, the rehearsal choreographers, they would all stop and watch. And you could even invite some people from the outside as well, like your friends and family would come and watch. And you would essentially put on your best black dance outfit and do the entire show. You would just choose one show. Most of the time, we did a ballroom show called Invitation to Dance. I think I did like 3 or 4 office runs of Invitation to Dance, to be honest, which was always a little frustrating because it's ballroom, so I felt like I wasn't really showing my strong suit. In the beginning, I felt like I got good at that show after a few contracts, but in the beginning, I was like, I don't want people to see me do this. One time we begged our choreographer to let us do a show called Wild, Cool and Swingin', which was a show that no one really had seen. Like a lot of the different royal ships will have the same shows. So Invitation to Dance was that ballroom show that was on a ton of different ships. And so you saw it a lot at office runs. But sometimes a show was only on one ship. So Wild, Cool and Swingin' was only on the Explorer of the Seas, which I did twice. And we begged, my second contract, it was actually my last contract at Royal Caribbean, one of my absolute favorites. Loved the people on that ship. I loved the shows on that ship too. It was so fun. We begged them to do that, and our choreographer said yes. And that was some of the first time that like people in the studio, like are at Royal Caribbean, other dancers had even seen that show. Because we don't really see what's on the other ships unless you've seen some bootleg video of it somewhere. And it's just such a fun show to dance. It was one of my favorites. It's all so cruise shippy, and it was also fun though, because when you were there, you could kind of see, oh, that ship does that show, and I think I'd be really good at that. So you'd get this idea of what you wanted to maybe go and do next. And a lot of the time at those office runs, the casting team would be watching you and casting you for the next offer they were going to give you. So I think the first office run that I did, we did Invitation to Dance, and then as soon as the office run was over, I had an offer to go to the Explorer, and they had Invitation to Dance on there. And so I felt like, you know, it was also an opportunity to kind of score your next contract. It's not like that everywhere. That was just a Royal thing, I think. But That's how that worked. But those audiences, all of that to say, those audiences are some of the best audiences you'll ever have, especially at those office runs, because they were just all other performers from other ships. And a lot of them were your friends that you've worked with before. So, I mean, they know how hard it is to do what you're doing. They've done those shows before. They're just in for a treat because they just got an hour off of rehearsals, and, you know, they're ready to watch a show and enjoy a show, and they just go wild. I loved an office run. But yeah, so that's kind of like what I thought the cast preview was like for Disneyland. It's the first cast preview I've ever done over there. And it was the same energy, just everyone there to enjoy a show, people who know what it's like to do what you're doing, and how hard it can be to really get to the end of that route. It's a long, Disney's California Adventure route is a long parade route. Like it's a beast to get through. And to have energy all the way up until the end, like it's a lot. But once the gate closes and you take a second to breathe, it's just, you have all this adrenaline, and it kept me awake all night, to be honest. I was exhausted, but I was just on such a high from it all that I had such a hard time getting to sleep. Maybe it was also the overnight factor, but we opened it, we did all that, and then I was back at Knott's Berry Farm on Friday, Saturday. Those were supposed to be our last shows. Sorry, I wasn't there on Friday, I was there on Saturday. That was supposed to be our last day of shows, but like I said, we got extended. The first show over there, I stacked it, absolutely knocked myself out in the Gunslingers Ballet. We're supposed to do this jump and kick at the same, well, there's a good jump kick, and then you do this kick with a slide, and when I slid, my foot slid out from underneath me, and I landed on my hip and my hand at the same time, like sideways, and when I landed, I felt this click in my back. I have a very, very old gymnastics injury from high school, where I have the two lowest discs in my spine. I have 2 slip discs, and I've managed that for like literally since I was 17, but every now and again it flares up. If you remember that infamous foam roller accident that I had a couple years ago. Yeah, I've managed it, and I haven't had anything like that since, touch wood, but it kind of cracked right there, and I thought, oh no, I had so much adrenaline pulsing through my body. I shot back up, ran to do the next thing, which was ironically a baseball slide to the floor, and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I bet I've got so much adrenaline right now, I just can't feel the injury, because it definitely clicked. Like, I felt it. My hip and my hand took most of the force, but just because I was twisted when I landed, it was just, oh, I was so nervous. And I got side stage. I mean, it was a very loud thud. I'm not a light person, so I made a very loud noise when I fell. And I got backstage. Everyone was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was feeling fine then, so I said, yeah, I'm feeling fine, I'll let you know. But I was so worried that when the adrenaline left my body and when I cooled down, it would start seizing up, because I've had that happen before, where I thought, oh, have I injured something? And I think, no, it feels okay. But then as the hours go on, all the muscles start contracting, and then I feel like it's injured. So I was really, really worried. I was stretching it out. I was making sure that in the break between shows, I was just keeping an eye on it, and it felt okay. I was like, I think I can do the second show. I don't think it feels bad. You know, I'll be safe about it. Like, I won't do anything too crazy, keep my legs a little lower. And yeah, I did the second show. It was fine. Got home. Then I was nervous that when I went to sleep, something would happen. Steve was telling me I had to sleep like a mummy, or like a vampire, because I sleep really sideways and twisted. Like, I sleep on my face down, or like hidden under the pillows, and literally just my whole body twisted in a tornado. I don't know why. It just feels right to sleep like that. My mum would hate it when I was younger, when I would sleep with her, because my leg just like goes up onto something. I'll be on the couch and I'll put my leg over the back of the couch, and like I'm hugging the back pillow of the couch. That is the way I feel the most comfortable. Like, leg up in the air, body twisted, face buried. That's me. So Steve was like, tonight you just have to sleep normally like a human, because you don't want to risk anything with your back. So I did that, and I managed to get to sleep, thank goodness. Probably snored my face off, because I don't sleep on my back like that. But yeah, woke up fine. And honestly, hallelujah, Kim, because I was very, very nervous that I was going to be injured, and that I would have nothing but negativity for however long I'd be injured for. Could you imagine, like, this time right now, the best time to be dancing for me right now? I mean, it's always a great time, but it's so exciting when things are new and everyone's excited to see it all, and there's that excitement of the newness of everything. Like, I didn't want to miss out on that at all. So very, very thankful that didn't cause an injury. I believe at this point, like, you know, when you crack your knuckles like that, I think I just kind of cracked my back because it probably needed a good crack. Didn't want to do it that way, but, you know, I'll take it. Very happy it's not injured. So then that's where I was Saturday, and went back to Disney on Sunday, did my shows there. I had such a great, I was like euphoric on Sunday. I don't know what was going on. I do think it had something to do with the gourmet Australian salad sandwich that I made for myself. I think I even wrote it in my journal. I told Steve, I was like, I'm having such a good day. Like, the weather is perfect. There is a pep in my step. I think I was just so thankful I wasn't injured as well. It was the end of my performance week, so I knew I'd have some rest afterwards. I was like, I can just go nuts today. Nothing's going to be a problem. And I went to the grocery store because I thought, oh, I got to get some lunch. I was going to get a salad, and I thought, no, let me get a salad sandwich instead. Now, we don't have anything like that here, and so I got all the stuff. I got a sourdough bread roll because that was the closest thing I could get to a French roll here. And then, well, just everything in Australia just is different. I don't know what the equivalent is of a lot of things here, but I'm figuring it out kind of slowly, or I'm making, you know, the switches and the alternatives where I can. But this was my sandwich. This is my Australian salad sandwich. I had roast chicken on a sourdough bread roll. It was about 6 inches. And then I had alfalfa sprouts. That was a wild card. I don't know why I put those on there, but I did. Grated carrot, American cheese. I could have used a different cheese, but I kind of like that yuck cheese. And then cucumber, English cucumber. Love that. I had some lettuce on there. I've since taken the lettuce off. It was just taking up too much space. And the cucumber is a good green to have anyway. Roma tomatoes. I don't believe it's Roma tomatoes that I would use if I were in Australia, but those are the ones I like the taste of most here. And then red onion. Love that. Stank up the whole house. And then beetroot. Root. That's what my mum calls it. But here it's called, because at home it's just beetroot. You just get a tin of beetroot, is what I'm sure it is. And it's slightly sweeter, and it's like a lot more intense purple red at home. Here it's called pickled beets in the tin, and that's what I think. Because I've had the beets from here before, and it did not taste anything like beetroot from home. So I think here it's called pickled beets, and it's just not as sweet as the ones from home, but they do taste... It's like half flavor. It's like if you took the flavor of an Australian beetroot and then halved it, which I do feel like sometimes is the difference I noticed with lots of fruit and veg here. It tastes good, like it's supposed to, but sometimes I think the fruit and veg in Australia tastes more robust. Like there's a stronger flavor to each individual fruit and vegetable. It might just be where I'm buying them from here. I don't really know if it's like a soil or an air thing. I have no idea. But at home, I don't really put salad dressings on a salad because all the ingredients taste so flavorful. Here, it tends to be a little bit softer in flavor, and so I do put a salad dressing on there. I mean, I don't mind salad dressing, but I just noticed that was a difference. Like, it's just not as strong. The flavor doesn't come through as strong here. Not on everything. I will say we had the farmer's market, and I did get some cucumber and tomatoes from there that were very flavorful. So it might just be where I'm buying it from. But that was the salad sandwich that I made, and I had such a gorgeous time eating it. Oh, I put on honey Dijon mustard as well. That was divine. If my mum's listening to this, which she's not, she'd be asleep by now, but she'd be so jealous of my sandwich. She should probably make one of her own. No, she wouldn't. That's too much effort for her. And you know what? It's actually my mum that made me think of that sandwich. Well, and it's the reason, she's the reason I had it, obviously, but where I first have a memory of that sandwich from is from Wyong Hospital. There's like a little, I don't know if it was a bakery or like a little cafe area, and I don't even know why we were there or who we were visiting, but they had these salad rolls in Glad wrap or cling film. And that was all the ingredients that I remember from that specific salad roll. Because my mum would never make anything like that. Like sometimes she might have, rarely. If she's going to put beetroot or anything, it'd probably be a burger. Because in Australia we have, they used to have it at McDonald's, I think, the McOz. But at Burger King, which we call Hungry Jack's. They have, I mean, I think we have Burger King too, but there's another one called Hungry Jack's, just the same parent company, Burger King. Hungry Jack's, they used to have an Aussie burger, and it would have beetroot on it. I think it had egg on it as well, though. I like the grated carrot. That also gives it a little bit of sweetness. I love red onion, even though it hates everyone. Why am I talking about this sandwich? Oh, so I think that contributed a lot to my day because I was feeling very homesick. I am very homesick right now. I don't know when I'm going to go home, but it's just hitting me. It's one of those things you can only fix by going home. So I did put a temporary band-aid on that with an Aussie sandwich. And actually last week I was already doing this. I was trying to, you know, bring a taste of home. You know how the pandemic was easing up, they did a taste of Disney. I've been doing a taste of Australia for myself at home. I had chips. I went and got hot chips from Trader Joe's. I got a bag of them. Big mistake because they were seasoned, and I felt like they were seasoned with vinegar or like paprika, like it's a weird mix of stuff, but I thought it was just regular chips, so that was a wash. I went and got another packet of chips that was just like plain, put them in the air fryer, did chicken salt, and then I did Gravox. I did some gravy, so I had chips, hot chips and gravy at home. It was so weird. I've never done that, but I don't know, it just really took me back to playing bingo with Gran, or going to, what are they called? The meat raffles, the seafood raffles, goodness, down by Wyong Bowling Club. When I was a little boy, I used to take my colouring ins and we'd go to the meat raffles and have hot chips and gravy. Still wasn't exactly the same as at home, but it was close enough. And yeah, I've just been doing a little taste of Australia. Did I use I had an Aussie breakfast roll as well, which again, I used all the alternatives I could find, but wasn't quite the same. Steve's just been laughing at me because I've just been trying to cook all these Australian things. It's a custard tart next. Mark my words, I'll be getting all this stuff for a custard tart. Mum told me to make one when I said, oh, if there's one thing I could just ship over here, I wish I could just get custard tarts. And she goes, just make one. And I thought, there's no way I'm making one. Now I'm actually considering it because it is kind of helping with my homesickness. But it's more the children and my sister and my mum, my auntie, my stepdad, like it's all my family. I want to see my family. I want to go and spend time with them. And honestly, it's that feeling that I get that I explain when I do my vlogs, when I come home. It's that feeling of being somewhere where I actually don't have to do anything. So it's not really a holiday. It's like being a kid again. Like I just get to go and be in a space where I am literally the child again. I mean, I don't act like a child, but like my mum's there. I can be the kid. I don't have to be the adult of my own house. I mean, she does tell me what to do sometimes, but that's okay. I don't mind it. And like going to the store and doing grocery shopping with my sister, like I know there's such mundane things, but I really do have such a good time doing it. And it's something I don't have in my life here. I mean, I do it with Steve sometimes, but he hates the grocery shopping. We just make such a lifestyle. And I think after my accident, when I was at home for like those 12, 14, 16 months, whatever, we just made such a lifestyle of doing random things, like normal everyday things. Not a lifestyle of it, that's normal, but we made it became an event for something to do. Those were just the things I'd look forward to doing. And I really could find a lot of joy in doing those things. Really simple, mundane, ooh, my nose is going, mundane tasks. So a bit of homesickness led me to doing my Aussie salad sandwich. I don't even know if it's an Aussie thing. Honestly, maybe no Australian knows what I'm talking about, but you'll know that we put beetroot on things for sure. And the day was right. The weather was perfect. Good bunch of people in at work. Dancing. I felt like I had way too much energy. Like I finished the first parade and I was bouncing off the walls, couldn't even believe it. And I thought, well, this is great. Like I'm just gonna have even more energy for the next parade, and I'll just leave it all out there because I got 3 days off after this. Well, off dancing. I've been doing this work, but I think that's my sign to go in a second. I finished the day up. Yeah, came home. It was great. I had such a great day. Monday was the crash. That's what I was getting to. It's not all roses around here. Monday, I absolutely crashed out. I think I had so much excitement just from the whole week that I had and all the newness and all the, all the videos and photos and all the messages from people saying congratulations. I was just so happy, and I was just really relishing in all of it. And then Monday, I had just collage club work to do on my computer, and it just went, whoom. like right back to neutral. It wasn't bad, I wasn't upset, but I was just on such a high from everything else and like had such a perfect day on Sunday. So Monday was interesting because I kind of came right back down to earth, and yeah, it was fine. It's fine. I think it's been ramping back up again. I'm excited to go back to dance tomorrow. So it's like one of those things you kind of like when you've been away from it a little bit, you miss it again and then you want to go and do it. Then you exhaust yourself and you need the break again. So that's been it. This is why I'm happy we have these 31 days, because look at all that useless information I just got to share with you in 45 minutes. I hope you've had a good time watching this first Mermay. There'll be a whole month's worth of videos, so come back and check in with me. Watch as much as you want, watch as little as you want. I'll have other content as well sometimes. I do have I have part 2 of that 5-year Hobonichi chat and flip coming up, I think on Sunday or Monday. At some point it's coming, so keep an eye out for that if you're not here for all the Mermay stuff, and if you are, I'll be chatting with you about my little notepad of things to chat about, and just whatever I feel like. There'll be all different lengths of videos. Some will be long, some will be short, some will be in between, but we'll have a good time, and we'll be doing mermaids all throughout. Tomorrow's is the tutorial that I taught last week. It's that, so you'll see that kind of come to life. But if you do want to learn tomorrow's, you can go and learn the tutorial from last week. It's up and on the YouTube channel. And yeah, there's also a blog post about it as well, so if you need to see some extra photos of it, or if you need to download the PDF reference that I drew, you can go and see that on my website in the journal section. That's my blog. You'll see a little Mermay thing there. You can go and see that. Collage Club is also up today, so go and check out your Collage Club for May. There's some Mermay stuff in there as well. Big spoiler alert for the other mermaids that you'll see popping up in the journal throughout the month. Some of those are in Collage Club, so if you for some reason want to be surprised by that, don't look at Collage Club right now. I don't think anyone's going to care, but because you won't see those on video, they'll just pop up in a flip, you know, a week from now. But they are in there as well. So, and there's also the Mermay logo thing that I drew. So if you want to download that from Collage Club, that's there as well for my Collage Club members. Thank you to all of those people who are subscribed. Subscribed? Is that the word? I want to say supported, but I think subscribed is the word. Subscribed. Thank you to my Collage Club members. Let's just say that. Go and grab all your stuff. I'll see you all again tomorrow for Mermay Part 2. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Until then, bye.